So, how is it that you can avoid throwing people under the bus when you're pissed off or someone doesn't just get something and there's continual errors that are being made? So, look, there's two phases to this. Number one, if someone is continually making errors and you've done everything you can in your power to help them, then you should consider replacing that person and you should speak up about it quickly and trust your gut. Your gut will guide you, and more often than not, your gut is not incorrect. It's based upon hundreds of thousands of interactions you have with people on a continual basis, whether in person or digitally or remotely, and it will ultimately give you a sense of what you can or cannot expect from a person in a professional relationship. At the same time, the value in having tried every which way you can to help that person should lead you to ultimately becoming a better communicator, better teacher, better instructor of people. Because on top of all of this, the true path to the way of the warrior, to freedom, to becoming a badass leader is to take the extreme ownership approach by Jocko Willink. Everything is your fault, or everything rather is my fault. That person doesn't execute well, it's because I've not explained it properly. If that person still isn't executing it well, it's because I need to explain it differently. If that person still isn't executing it well, it's because I need to explain it in multiple ways, or I need to create a system for them to be able to refer back to, or I've not given them proper support, or I've hired badly, or I put them in the wrong position, and that person I'm responsible for, so every mistake that's made is my fault. And because of that, I'm taking ownership for these problems and I'm going to solve them, beginning with figuring out everything I can do to improve that role for that person. Now, all of these things can happen extremely quickly, and or you can make a judgment based upon your gut and experience whether that person's going to be right for that role. But irrespective of that, try not to throw people under the bus. That is an ego thing where you want to assign blame. That is a pride thing where you want to assign incompetency to someone else. But ultimately, if you're involved, then you are partially responsible for any bad outcome. So therefore, it's your fault. Or if you were saying it to yourself, you would say, it's my fault. So to avoid throwing people under the bus, you need to be cognizant of that. You need to recognize that, well, you're part of the team, you're leading the team, or you're assisting the team, or you're partnering in the team. It's your team, or you're part of the team. So do what you can to improve and bite your tongue in those moments and absorb the punches, take the losses in search of the bigger wins that will strip away any of the losses in general, because that's what's going to really help you become a better teacher, better leader overall. So, when there's a problem, maybe it's better just to say, leave this with me, it's my fault, I'll fix it, and then take it internally. Also, because if it's in front of a client, then don't make your team look bad in front of a client. It's one team. If someone makes a mistake, you've made the mistake, or you've all made a mistake. To take ownership, irrespective of what's happening, and then deal with that person and the support they need, or whether they need to exit the business, deal with that yourself directly with that person, never in front of a client. So those are the elements that I think you should consider to avoid throwing people under the bus, because it never serves you to throw anybody under the bus. If it's something that if it's a person who needs to be removed because they have a poor attitude, then get rid of them and get rid of them quickly. But don't throw people unnecessarily under the bus when they're making an effort.